Okay, Alicia. So let me make sure that, okay. So we can just go ahead and jump right in. What's up, everybody? You already know me, Portia Tierra, coming to you live from prison from the Inside Out Inc. Usually when we do all of our interviews, our guests are people who are currently incarcerated, but as of late, we decided to expand and include family members, friends, and other loved ones of our incarcerated friends so that we can see different aspects and perceptions of the emotions and the background that go into being affected by the criminal justice system. So we had a young man reach out to us. He was very adamant about getting his story out, and he wanted his mother to assist him. So we have today his mother, Alicia Legaspi, on the line, and she is going to assist us on her son Joey's bio. That's what our program is called, or her son's bio program. And she's going to tell us his story and what's going on with him. So everybody can say hi to Alicia. Alicia, you can say hi to everyone.
Hello.
So Alicia, we're just gonna jump right into Joey's story. Can you give us a little bit of a character background on your son and his behaviors and before he was incarcerated?
Okay, well, my son was incarcerated at the age of 20. January, he was 20 years old.
Okay.
Before that, we live in Modesto, California. A lot of issues with violence where we lived, a lot of issues with police, always targeting him. Life wasn't easy.
Right.
We made the best of it. Come that year, there was a death that had occurred, and my son was arrested.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry, I just want to stop you. Is this the death that occurred is the crime that Joey is currently incarcerated for, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I just want to rewind just a little bit. Had he ever been incarcerated prior to?
When he was a juvenile.
Only as a youth, not
yeah, just once. Yeah. Okay. That's all.
Okay. So now he's 20 years old. He had not been in trouble as an adult, 20 years old, and living in Modesto, which I actually live very close to Modesto, so I'm familiar with the area Stockton, Modesto, like high crime areas pretty much. And definitely issues with the policing because they don't have a lot of opportunity in those cities, like work opportunities. So that always makes crime higher. And so now you're saying at 20 years old, and I'll let you continue.
Okay. So prior to that, my son had been targeted. Like I said, we were trying really hard. But throughout all this time, I always told him to believe in the system, because I believed in the system. I thought, So once he got pulled from work and taken down to talk to a detective, because they said that he was involved in, I think it was a drive-by shooting or something like that. And so my son said, hey, so thank God that he was working that day.
Right.
So, because they said, oh, he looks like you and it was you. And
you fit the description.
Yeah, you fit the description. And so my son, when he came home, he goes, Mom. And then he started looking at his schedule, and he's like, I was at work.
Thank God.
So, they were able to verify that, he was at work. Okay. great. I'm glad he was at work,
Right.
that happened. So then when this happened, I told him, I believe that, this naive as I was, the system is going to be fair justice, they're going to
Mhm.
look into everything, if you tell them, they're going to look into it.
Right.
One of the biggest part of his trial was that they let so much stuff in there, but they just said what they wanted the jury to hear. One of them that stuck in my mind was they had said that it was an altercation, and this was years prior, and that the vehicle that was used in that time was a vehicle that supposedly was my vehicle. Well, if they would have ran license plates and everything, that was not the vehicle. There was a vehicle exactly like it,
Mhm.
but it wasn't my vehicle. And what happened at that time, they had said that he had allegedly hit a girl in the altercation or whatever, which my son ended up having a broken arm from it. And I have the police report right here where it states that even the police report says that that it was inconsistent with what the people were saying, because there was
Oh,
no.
so what you're saying is, because I was kind of confused for a little bit. So what you're saying is that during the trial for
Yes.
the case that he's currently incarcerated for, and in an attempt to build like a character for your son
Yes,
to the jury, they used all of these stories that were not true.
that were not true. And that one, they would it was true. There was an altercation, but
Hmm.
they didn't disclose that part because it would look bad. Like,
Right.
they made it sound like, oh, I have it right here in my, I keep all his papers. Um, saying this happened. I remember when I heard that, I thought, if I'm on the jury, this person, is hitting a girl. First place, my son would never hit a girl. And, but they never disclosed it that, no, it didn't, that wasn't the way it was. Even the police report says that it wasn't. Plus they let, the DA brought in, what they called a gang expert.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So they bring in the gang expert so that
Yes.
he can
And
justify them adding the gang enhancement onto the case.
And he added everything under the sun. Like I said, whether it was true or not, it was there for the jury to hear.
Hmm.
So
I just
I
want to pause
think
you for a minute because this is also my first time learning Joey's story. So I want to make sure not only that I understand, but also that our viewers understand exactly, like, as we go from the point A to the point Z, we want to make sure that we understand everything that's in between. So what exactly was Joey charged with?
he was convicted of first-degree murder
Okay.
with special circumstances.
Okay.
And the DA tried to make me happy one day by saying, "Oh, Miss Legaspi, we're taking the penalty off the table."
Mm-mm-mm.
What does life without parole mean
Right.
to me?
Right.
It's just horrible.
Right.
So, no, my son did not shoot anybody. No, my son didn't kill anyone. It was alleged that he was a driver.
Right.
And I have the transcripts here that I paid a pretty penny to read every time. And no one has ever, during his trial, ever ID'd my son.
So there was witnesses at this trial. Like, say,
Yes,
for everyone that doesn't know, just the layout of a trial, you've already went through preliminary hearings, all this stuff, decided that no plea offerings are going to happen or be accepted. Now we're at a trial, jury of 12, judge, defendant, prosecutor, and these witnesses are coming up and testifying. And generally, if the defendant is in a room while this is going on, then the prosecutor or defense attorney will say, hey, if the driver or the shooter is in the room, can you point to them? And what Ms. Legaspi is saying, that during Joey's trial, nowhere in the trial was anyone able to identify him as the alleged driver. Okay.
Yes, at any point in time, nobody ever, they've asked them on there, can you point out the drive? Do you remember? Nothing. They can't remember nothing. There's no one that can say, oh, it was him, And so as for deal, no, because I believe that the truth will set you free. And if you're
Right.
saying the truth is supposed to set you free.
That's right. And God always prevails, because I know you're getting emotional. I know this is your baby and I have kids, so I definitely understand. And the truth will set you free, and God always prevails. There's never a mistake. So even though it's hurting you for him to be there, there's always a blessing in it. Something might have worse happened out here, and God willing, you're gonna get your baby home.
So we went through habeas corpus, and no, it didn't go through. Appeals. This last appeal, I was ready for them. I wasn't getting my hopes up, because when you get your hopes up high, then it feels worse,
Right.
So my son kept saying, "This is my year, Mom. Everything's gonna be okay." And I have a notification on my phone, so anything that happens in his case, it'll come right away.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the notification, and I kept it for a day or two because I didn't understand it. So then I got a hold of, one day when he called, I told him, I said, this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was just for the money that I've paid, because I paid off his restitution.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And so, so I called his appeals lawyer, and I said, look, I don't understand. What does this mean? Is this mean because of the money? And then he said, I was trying to get a hold of you and let you know, and he explained it all to me. And it's being reversed. And now my emphasis on this is that I want my child I don't want him to be railroaded again to get in a life sentence.
Okay, wait, I just want to pause you, and I'm so sorry, because I want to make sure everyone understands what you just said. So Joey, which is Alicia's son, was tried and convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without possibility of parole at the age of 20. So his first offense as an adult, he was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, which fits the statistics for youth, minority males, ethnic males between the ages of 18 and 20 to be sentenced to life without on their first offense. Now, how long has he been incarcerated?
He went into jail when he was 20. He was sentenced about a month after his birthday, 2 months. So he was 21. He's been down since 2012. So it's like 8.5 years.
8.5 years. So 8.5 years later, his mom has been advocating for him fiercely and just, struggling to bring her child home. She said her son always kept hope, very strong spirited, and that on his last appeal, his mom got notification that his sentence had been reversed. So that's huge. I mean, that's huge. He has a life without the possibility of parole sentence, and it has just been reversed. So, okay, Alicia, I'll let you guys. I just want to make sure that they understood like the magnitude of that.
So, so now we're just waiting, and my son will be either retried, or I'm not sure what exactly is going to happen, but the DA has the right to bring him and retry him.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know, give him a deal, tell him something or whatever. I don't know what it is. But
So what was the, why was the, what grounds was Joey's case reversed on?
mainly because they said that it's a 24-page from it, but most of it was a lot of hearsay.
No real
Uh,
evidence, pretty
yes.
much.
Detective Gum, who he said everything he wanted to say. Whether it was truth or not, he still said it.
Right.
And that affected the jury. So on that and other counts right here, that's why we were allowed for my son to come back and either go to trial or something's got to change. Gives my baby a chance to a fair trial, thanks to People versus Sanchez that was passed in 2016. Because the detective who was their expert in some instances didn't have very much information on what he was talking about. And then the other part is, if someone is saying so-and-so said that, that right there doesn't give my son's defense a chance to talk to them, you know?
Right.
So it's hearsay. It's like, you know, you could say whatever you want without having something to back it up. You need the person so that you could cross-examine that person. And that's where it lacked.
So essentially, he didn't have the opportunity to rebuttal against the witnesses.
Yeah, because it was all hearsay.
Yeah,
Basically.
I'm like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I know it was very important to Joey for people to understand his story, because he did feel 100% railroaded by the lack of criminal justice system that we have. And that, you know, to let people know, like, he has a chance at life again, but then also the same people that stole his life, that sentenced him to this life without the possibility of parole sentence, although he is, you know, stating he's innocent, they have the opportunity to do that again.
Yes. They have the opportunity to do it again. And that's where my fear comes in, because I already went through one trial and heard so many things that I just wanted to stand up and tell them and let them understand the whole scenario of what it is, and not allowed to. So they only get to hear that part. And I'm so glad that this one, the hearsay wouldn't be admissible.
Right.
So, you know, I need justice to be served. I need anyone out there that can help in his defense. And we're not rich, we need help. I want him to have a lawyer to help him out. I think he met his lawyer maybe once, maybe at the most twice throughout this whole time.
He had a public defender.
Public defender, because we really thought,
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
no, you know,
I
this
definitely
can't be.
I definitely understand, and it's unfortunate, because that is, I mean, it's the tall tale story of ethnic and minority men. They find themselves in predicaments where they are facing our criminal justice system, and then the financial backing is not there. We do not have proper legal representation. We end up in the hands of a public defender, which, you know, not to say that all public defenders are bad, but they are overworked, which means there's very limited time for them to pay attention to a case as they should. Or like you said, your son only met his attorney one time and his life was on the line. He literally lost his life, and the person that was representing him only had enough time to see him one time. So it's just, that's another, you know, problem within our criminal justice system.
So I would like for everyone to just sit and think, how would you feel if they sentence your 21-year-old to life without parole? I don't have words. I've met people throughout this journey, and I feel so bad, and I don't understand how our system can be so broken, so wrong, that there's people sitting there that shouldn't be there.
You are so right. Throughout the time that I have done this work, I've met so many amazing men and women who are incarcerated and that have, you know, whether guilty or not, it does not matter,
No.
that have rehabilitated themselves,
Yeah.
that have, you know, done things to prove that they could be successful members of our community out here. And our system just does not allow that. And I watched the Senate floor because ACA 6 passed, which is it's the beginning of people on parole having the right to vote again. And some of the senators said some really far left things about felons. And then there were some others that said, you know what, as a state that specifically added rehabilitation onto the end of our Departments of Corrections title, you know, we have to really start owning up to that. You can't say that you want to spend billions of dollars on rehabilitation, but then the same people that you're claiming to have rehabilitated, they don't deserve to be treated like humans. They deserve to be locked in cages. They deserve to be given life without the possibility of parole. And our state as a whole, not just the state, the United States, really needs to take a look at our criminal justice system. There are so many mothers, friends, girlfriends, wives, sisters, brothers that are broken and in the same place as you. And I want to read you some of the comments from the live, okay?
Yes.
So Lisa Kirshner said, I just can't imagine. We must stop taking people's lives away. Fran Bustos said, don't give up. Fight, fight, fight. Let your voice be heard. Be loud because they will put him away. Start a GoFundMe, whatever it takes. My heart breaks for you because the system is so unjust. So they are definitely out here listening, and you know, we are here to fight with you. Is there anything else that you want to say, just to make sure that whatever Joey wanted heard is heard by all the people that are listening? And don't worry, because this will be shared on all of the organization's platforms and will be in rotation for everyone to continue to watch.
I just emphasize on anybody that has any loved one in there to do everything they can to be their voices, because they take their life away, and then their family and their friends forget about them. I never forgot mine. I driven 7 hours one way just to see him for an hour. And he said, don't come. It said only an hour. That's my hour. And it hurts. And it hurts worse to think that there's other ones that never get a visit.
Right.
And then you hear all these things in prison. And they say, oh, well, you know, he was a lifer, you know, he was serving life. Well, what do they have to look forward to?
Right.
You know, there's going to be violence because what can they do? Give you life? You're already doing life.
There's hopelessness, and they know that. They breed hopelessness.
Yeah.
Nothing for a person that is incarcerated with life without the possibility of parole to look forward to. There's no parole board hearing. There is no my great behavior can earn me anything close to maybe a commutation, which the rates are really low for commutation passing. Ashley Lynn said, how old is Joey now?
My son just turned 30.
So he is 30 years old, Ashley. Fran said, where is he? That's up to you. You don't have to answer that, but they asked where is he at. And what I can do for people who are interested in like supporting Joey or in Alicia is at the end, I can talk with Alicia and see what information she's comfortable with giving out, like contact information for her, and then you can reach out to Alicia, and then you guys can further talk about contact information for Joey. Okay.
Okay.
So for all of the people that are interested in helping out, we can add Alicia's information in the comments, and then yeah, that'll be like our bridge for contact for Joey. Daniel Villegas says, don't give up. I was given a capital life sentence in 1995 and I am out now free. Don't give up. It took me 19 years to overturn my case. Amen. But it happened. That's good. That is so good. Shout out to you, Daniel.
Yes.
So a lot of people are watching. A lot of people are hoping and praying for you guys. And again, sometimes just having Fran said thank you. So yes, Fran, I definitely make sure you get the contact information because I see you're looking for it. And we'll definitely, make sure to keep this going. And sometimes that helps too, just making sure that, district attorney knows that you guys are aware. When the court system knows or thinks, believes that you have no one fighting in your corner, they take advantage of that.
Yes, they do. And that's my main focus, is even when he was going through the process, how awful it was to see. I myself was we're coming home and a police officer turned on his lights. I didn't know why. And we were like a couple of houses down from the house. So I told my daughter just to pull up to the driveway and we'll see, and it was just harassment.
Oh, wow.
Pure and simple harassment. It was raining. My grandkids were very young. I told my daughter, get the keys and put the kids inside because it was raining. And he said he had asked me to stay in the car. I said, all I want her to do is put the grandkids inside because it's raining. He grabbed my hand, twisted it, and proceeded to arrest me. Took me in the back of his car. Yes, ma'am. Threw me in the back of the car, said I was under arrest, and drove me for about a mile, while all the time talking and saying all kinds of things. I let him say there was 2 police officers. The driver was the one that was, the other officer didn't, I could see in his face that he felt bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one kept on going and going, saying all he wanted. I didn't respond to him until I totally got to the point that I said, I'm sorry that your mom didn't love you enough to do all that she could for you. He just looked at me like, and then all of a sudden he did a really abrupt U-turn. I was thinking, gosh, maybe they're going to arrest my daughter. I don't know.
Oh, they dropped you back off?
They dropped me back to my house.
Wow.
He took off the handcuffs. He said, this is your lucky day.
Oh.
I was like, so it's just.
Yeah, that's exactly why people are out in the streets protesting right now.
Yes.
Like that. That is exactly why. I want to read you these 2 comments because I think that you would like them. Tori Azano said that my husband was incarcerated at the age of 17. He has life without possibility also. The new law reduced it. Now 3 years ago, I found the evidence to prove he was sentenced to life without possibility. Wait a minute. He was sentenced to life without parole for a crime he did not commit. And now the Innocence Project has his case. He is 36 years old now. Ashley Lynn said she is a paralegal student and she wants to study and know more about this case. So we will make sure to contact Ashley Lynn and connect you guys. So thank you, Ashley and Tori, to connect you guys so that, you know, anything that she's able to help with, that'll be great. So again, you guys, for anybody that's just joining, I'm gonna do like a recap and then we're gonna let Alicia close out whatever again that she wants to say as a representation of her son. Her son, Joey, at the age of 20 years old, was tried and convicted for first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. He has been incarcerated for about 8 years, but recently his case has been reversed. Even though his case is reversed, Joey is still in prison. So what happens when your case is reversed, the district attorney of the county that you were prosecuted in, they get the opportunity to basically either drop the charges, let you go, they can retry you again for the entire case, or they can like offer you a plea deal or something like that. So right now he's in that weird gray area waiting period. He does not have any legal assistance to help him. He did the appeal on his own, right?
We have a state appointed appeals.
Okay. So
Yeah.
he's in like the gray area, waiting to see exactly what's gonna go on with his case. But as of right now, as we speak, his life without possibility of parole sentence has been overturned. It's been reversed. He found out about F.T.I.O. and he wanted to get his story out. I'm sure he knows because he spent 8 years. There are so many people that are incarcerated that are serving the death by incarceration sentence, life without possibility of parole. And he is blessed and fortunate enough to be in a predicament to where he actually has a fighting chance to get out. And his mother, as his advocate, has joined me today to share his story and to look for support for her son because they need help. So Alicia, anything else that you want to say to these folks before we end?
All I want to say is that I thank them and I want anybody out there that is still fighting to not give up, just like I didn't give up, to show up to the rallies. I told you guys a story, this last rally in Sacramento. I totaled my car a couple minutes before the rally, but I walked over there because I needed to be there for my son.
That's right.
Because everybody in there is somebody's son, somebody's brother, somebody's mother. And if they don't have a voice, and if we don't change our system, then they have no hope.
That's right. And she's talking about the Drop LWOP rally, y'all. So F.T.I.O. was there. I know a lot of the watchers, viewers and stuff were there. So the Drop LWOP rally in Sacramento, her car broke down and I mean, she crashed, she got in a car accident and she walked to be there to advocate for her son. This is a fierce mother here. So I'm sure her son will be home soon because she is not going to give up. Phoenix Shepherd said, my husband has been in since he was 16 and was given a life sentence. He was convicted solely based off his co-defendant's testimony. No DNA, no gun, no blood, nothing. The co-defendant has now written with a sworn affidavit saying that he lied because he was coerced by the prosecutor. We went to Kentucky's Innocent Project, but they said they only deal with DNA cases and my husband's case has no DNA. We are still fighting. We send prayers to you, Phoenix. I know it's hard. Okay. All right, Alicia. So like I said, we will continue to share this. Joey is going to be in our prayers and you guys reach out to us for anything. We will reach out to the folks who want to contact information and hopefully link all of you up so you guys can start working on freeing Joey.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for telling your son's story. I appreciate you, and we will talk soon.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you.